Hi there, in this tutorial we're going to look at how a dataset can be cleaned up and the sorts of things that might throw the data out or give us results that are not quite accurate. So we're going to work with the original CSV file which has been downloaded from the internet. And here's that file here. Now you will remember that the very last record had an issue in that when we were looking at dates there wasn't a date, and so it threw up an error. The easiest way to fix that was to just copy the date from above and paste into that final cell. We need to check and see if there are any more issues that may throw up errors, and in order to do that I'm going to use Spider itself to take a look at our data set. So inside Spider I'm going to open the file, and the file that I'm going to open is going to be koala base 1996 to 2017. And when I open that, you can see that all of this data comes up. At the top I have the names of each of the fields. Call date would be in column 1, animal record number would be in column 2, and so on. And as you can see, they are separated by commas, each of the fields. If I go down to the very bottom, you can see that I've put in the last date so that our date extraction code works correctly, but there are some other errors, and we'll take a look at a couple of those now. If I just drag up and take a look, hopefully you saw that. Let's do it again. There's this whole bunch of white space which is going to be a bit of an error. You can see that RSPCA is the last of the entries here, and then we start with adult further down. So what's going on? Koala base within Spider isn't going to tell me. If I take note of the cell 39234 and I go back into my CSV file, well, I can't really see any errors there, can I? So here's RSPCA in the record above. I can't see anything wrong with that. Just pay attention to wrap text here. If I press on this RSPCA, wrap text highlights. If I double click on this, I can see that there's a whole bunch of space that's been inserted obviously by the person entering the data. So I'm going to just press the backspace to get rid of all of that white space. And when I'm happy with it, I can press the tick, and hopefully that got rid of the wrap text, but wrap text is still highlighted there. So I'm going to click on it so that wrap text is switched off for that cell. Now I want to find if there's any more wrap text, and I know that there is one, but an easier way to find it, because if I continue spinning through this, it could take me all day to check and see if there are any other cells formatted with wrap text. An easier way to do this is to go to Find and Select, and if I go to Find and I go to Options, what I want to find is a format, and the format that I want to find is wrap text. So if I click OK on that and find Next, it's found another one highlighted here called matrices, or matrices. That is in row 23756. So let's just take a look at 23796 here, and if we scroll to it, okay, we can see that we have again a bunch of blank space. The date is missing and may well throw up errors in other locations. I think we've found another location where data entry may throw up errors. So I'm going to go into matrices, and if I just double click, you can see that it's there twice. So I'm going to get rid of the second one, and then when I click on it, wrap text is still highlighted, so I'm going to click that off. And now I want to make sure that there's no others. So find what? Format with wrap text, okay, and find Next. and it's telling me that there aren't any more, so that's pretty good. So I'll close that down and I will clear that formatting. It's important to clear the formatting so that we can do our next search, which isn't going to be looking at formatting, but instead we're going to be looking for commas. Now the reason why I'm looking for commas is because it's a comma separated value file or a CSV file. I'll show you where else an error may occur by getting us to look at the wrong data. So if I go into the field injury other, take a look at this. It says liver disease and then it has a comma and then it has pneumonia. Now that may well throw up an error because the comma inside of a cell may indicate that we're no longer looking at that particular field, but we're moving on to the next one. So in other words, liver disease may well be in column AE, but pneumonia may be regarded as being in column AF. Now I haven't tested this to see if it's right or not, but the commas inside of a comma separated value file may be an issue, so I'm just going to get rid of them. So let's first of all see if there are any more than just this one. Again, we'll use our find and select. So I'm going to find commas, and if I find next, I'll see a next one, and find next, I'll see a next one. If I click on find all, I can see that there are 196 of them. So I don't want to go through and have to delete all of these separate commas, but I do want to get rid of them in a quick way. What I can do is choose replace. I'm going to find the comma and I'm going to replace it with nothing, and then I'm going to say replace all. Okay, it says all done, and we made over 262 replacements, indicating that some of those entries had more than one comma in them. Now that I've done that, I'm going to save my data set, and I have managed to clean the data set up to a fair degree. Other things that may throw up instances of errors are where a number of cells have no data in them at all, and if that's the case, there are a number of things that you can do in Python which will allow the code to ignore cells which have no data in them, but we're not going to go into that at this stage. Thanks for watching. You can use your knowledge now to go ahead and interrogate your own data set.